biscuits too.
Either way,
I
I think that'd be right. It's late. It is late. That's why we're gonna get going to our first topic of the night. We got a couple of movie reviews. We're gonna start with King Cuddle's movie of the year candidate right now, Roadhouse, available now on Amazon Prime Video, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Conor McGregor, and I mean, who else is in this movie? I don't even know. I mean,
I don't really fucking care.
Don't really know. We're gonna get Cuddles on here in a moment to get his thoughts. But Tone, I'm gonna come over to you first, man. I know I don't actually. You and I haven't really discussed it, so we haven't really talked about what our thoughts are. But I'm gonna let you go.
I
first.
can't see how we're gonna be too separate on this, and I don't want to listen. We've talked enough about how I feel about remakes 90% of the time in this fucking show, so I'm not gonna dive into that right now. But what I will say is that first of all, I'm gonna say I found Jake Gyllenhaal entertaining. I think he was fine for what he had to work with.
Mm-hmm.
If he was, I guess I will kind of you'll have to reference the old Roadhouse. I thought some of the stuff, like the bits and some of his jokes, some of his one-liners were funny to a degree.
Yeah.
But sometimes a little out of place.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell if this movie was trying to be a dark comedy or was trying to be an action flick. And that's fine sometimes if things ride the line and if it's self-aware about that. I don't know if this was or just like they couldn't take themselves seriously. I don't know. Like, even the name part of it almost kind of like pissed me off. I'm like, well, my uncle just owned it and he thought it was funny just to call it Roadhouse. Like what the fuck is that? That's what we're getting explanation. Like, I'm sorry, but to me, I don't think of a fucking cabana being like a fucking roadhouse.
Yeah.
Like on the side of a fucking beach. Like, I get like the area was nice, but like to me, and not even to reference the original crazy classic Roadhouse, this just didn't even fit like what they wanted to go with it. It almost didn't make sense. But in the area that they wanted to do it, I mean, listen, bottom line, they could have honestly called this movie anything else.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been just as good as being called. They were literally trying to use the fact that it was a remake and called Roadhouse, and that's it. That's the only thing in similarity that it has, except for some lone dude that's kind of a knucklehead. Because honestly, like while he had some fun one-liners, he was kind of a knucklehead. Like I really like Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, and like for one, he got chiseled as fuck. Like motherfucker worked out his ass off for this, and that's great.
He was
like,
swole.
He was very swole, but like some of the dumb choices that he was doing, like, hey, these thugs are coming to, for whatever reason, we want, beat down on the fucking Roadhouse, which we didn't find out till halfway through the fucking movie because fucking Knucklehead wouldn't talk about it. Instead, they decided, let's go, hey, we're mad at them, let's go burn a fucking bookstore. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, what a weird fucking thing to do. And
that simply existed to give him a reason to stay. That's the only reason that choice was made, because they had to find a way to endanger the little girl.
Stupid.
And to trigger the animal within.
Stupid. Yeah, okay.
No.
Yeah, cool. Right. And he didn't get the animal triggered when his friends are getting beat up at the fucking bar either, when they're getting hit with a fucking with a, what was it, a fucking golf club or whatever the fuck. Like, get the fuck out of here with this shit. Like, listen, the fight scenes were kind of cool, and then there's like CG in them. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking about that. That was kind of odd.
Yeah.
I guess people like Conor McGregor. That's weird because I don't know why. Like, the guy's kind of a knucklehead, but like does he serve the purpose? Sure. Any goofball acting like they're a fucking crazy knucklehead could play that part, but like he did nothing for the film, like at all. Like you literally could have anybody else. Like, it's not like he was reading some crazy lines. He was just being some psychopath. Like, if they were trying to tap into that 80s like mantra of like a campy ass villain, sweet fucking job, but you could have found anybody else to fucking do it. Like, he was nothing to me. Like, I was like, I can't even believe they're just tying a name to this shit. Like, the fight scenes were trying to be cool, but like, man, yeah, exactly. It was getting way too over the top. Like, at some point, I thought these guys were going to turn into Goku and Vegeta and start fighting above in the air or something, because it was getting to be a little much. Like, the thing that made the original Roadhouse so good, and like, listen, neither of these stories have some crazy plot and story.
Anybody that's sitting there trying to tell you that this story is a step back from the original, really, I doubt they've seen the original or they don't remember it very clearly.
We're not looking for a Scorsese film when you watch these sort of things, but at the same time, like, even the motivations and things like that, it all just felt so fucking watered down.
Yeah,
like,
no, I did.
I don't understand. Listen, this movie doesn't need to exist. Bottom line. It's fine that it does. I know I talked to a few people that did find it entertaining. That's great. Like, I just don't think that it didn't need to be called Roadhouse whatsoever. I think right away that's silly. It misses the dark grit of the first one, which made the first one like the first one had some dark humor. You had what's his name? What's the villain in that one?
Brad Wesley.
Right, driving around like just doing like whatever.
Hey man, kind of like Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Conor McGregor. You can only get out about 4 words a minute, so. Yeah. Real entertaining, but it just missed that kind of like dark, serious undertone, and I think that's part of what made the original Roadhouse good. Like, while there was Goonie stuff going around them, the villains in that one were Goonie too, but they had more substance. I mean, you had Terry Funk as one of the fucking bad guys in the original, the fucking funkster himself,
right?
And they were there for a little bit of comedy relief as well too. You always want the henchmen to be kind of dumb and idiots, but when it got to the fight scenes, it felt a little bit more, at least in the original, a little visceral, a little dark.
It was very 80s.
Dalton didn't have to talk about his background, and that's what made him a better lead character than Jake Gyllenhaal, because, like, of course people are going to recognize him. He was in the fucking UFC and he killed a guy. You fucking kidding me?
Right,
like, that's what we're going for, a plot.
Dalton was Patrick Swayze's Dalton was more of a drifter.
He was just a dude. He had his car, and he had his heartbeat, and he was able to fight. Cool. You know what I mean? He takes the money, just trying to do what he's going to do. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm trying. No,
and I want to get Cuddles. I'm going to get Cuddles in here in a second.
That's all.
So, like, I respect your thoughts, and I do feel like this movie. Here's what I'll say. I didn't hate this movie. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I say all that. I didn't actually. I didn't hate it. Yeah,
I did hate the movie.
I
didn't hate it. It was. I don't want to say it was overly entertaining, but I enjoyed watching it. I was like, okay, I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is an amazing actor.
He was entertaining.
He has a lot of fun hamming it up in the scenes where he gets to be that swagger, cocky guy with his little quips and shit like that. That's where I felt like his character was the best. They give him multiple scenes to really try to flesh out his character, like you said, really kind of give him some backdrop with killing his friend in the UFC and all this shit. And, but it just felt kind of like forced in there, whereas like in the original, you really didn't, like you said, you didn't know shit about Dalton. And the only exposition you got on who he was when him and Sam Elliott are sitting at the diner the next morning with old girl, and he's like, when a guy pulls a gun on you, you got 2 choices. You die or you kill the motherfucker. All we know is Dalton was banging some chick, found out she was married. The guy pulled a gun, Dalton killed him. You didn't get flashbacks. You didn't get all this other shit. It was just like, hey, look, Dalton is he's a flawed hero. Awesome.
Wait. Boat dreams.
Boat dreams, cool. I was just like, dude, I don't need this. I don't need Dalton's backstory. I don't need. They didn't even really explain why he killed his friend. Oh, he was like Stallone in Over the Top. He was like a switch. He just fucking loses his mind and kills his friend. Okay, cool. I didn't need that. You could have just alluded to that and been done with it. So. Like I said, when they tried to force that stuff, it's like, this is kind of lame. Jake Gyllenhaal is a very capable actor, and he can do drama. I just felt like it wasn't necessary in this movie. I'm not watching Roadhouse for drama. I am watching Roadhouse because it's a fucking brawler.
Yeah.
I'm not there for a fucking plot that makes any sense at all. I'm just there to watch Dalton beat the shit out of people for an hour and a half and be done with it. But now here's the other thing. So you got this plot that is just a modernized. It's like a bunch of millennials got together and started talking about, hey, man, what's that movie your dad likes called Roadhouse? Let's remake it. And this is what you get. In the Keys, in a fucking, some kind of fucking hut for a bar. Like the Roadhouse. It's called the Roadhouse. Dude, I can tell you right now, like, look, it was a beautiful scenery. It was a nice-looking bar. But the Double Deuce will always be the bar that I'm going to, that is synonymous with Roadhouse. The Double Deuce. When it was a shithole, and even after he fixed it up, like the Double Deuce looked good. It was nice. It was a fun place, but the fights were fucking dope. The crowd was a bunch of scumbags. At this place, everyone's like, just drinking like fucking seltzers and shit. I was like, this bar fucking sucks. Let them burn it down. It was lame. It was a dumb bar. Didn't care for any of that. But the reason that I really find, or the reason I think that the first one was so good, and why this one fails so bad, is because the villains suck. Jay Hill mentioned the villains suck. The original Roadhouse, you had Brad Wesley. You had Ben Gazzara as Brad Wesley, who was basically a fucking another version of like Hans Gruber, just a charming yet very just sadistic, like just a jerk fucking villain. A carefree, he was funny, he had little quips. You couldn't believe the shit that he thought was amusing was just like, man, he's a fucking jerk. But he was just endearing. You know what I'm saying? And then he had what was it? Jimmy was his fucking right-hand man. Jimmy, like, I feel like Conor McGregor showed up, and I think Cuddles said it best. He's a walking meme in this movie. He's the same pose walking around, can barely understand what he's saying, and I can just tell. I knew the whole time I was watching, I was like, Conor McGregor is not an actor. I knew that. I was reminded of that in every single scene. This guy's not an actor. He walks around with his same weird fucking, like, I have just, it's just like, okay, dude, I get it. We get it, dude. I thought maybe the rich guy's dad in jail was going to be a cameo. Dude, the way that guy was orchestrating everything from prison was fucking hilarious. I was like, dude, I don't need any of that shit, man. Just give me Brad Wesley.
Big Dick.
Yeah, Big Dick, Sheriff Big Dick. That was fucking stupid. But the thing, like I said, the main villain was lame. But even Wesley's henchmen, they were kind of like they were mean dudes, but they were kind of endearing in a way. They had some like scenes where like you realize these guys are bumbling idiots.
Oh, the one guy who's like, "What's up, dude? You're not gonna kill me, right?" Like,
yeah, dude. Like
I did enjoy that a little bit. I thought that was
tried
kind
to
of
have that. Arturo Castro was kind of like the Tinker of the group. Tinker was kind of like the goofball in the original, and this guy. But it just felt weird. I was like, okay, I get it. He's like, why would this guy be a part of this crew? Original henchmen were clowns too. They were clowns, but they were also really nasty. These henchmen fucking sucked that these guys had. Other than fucking Conor McGregor, they all sucked. In the original, the henchmen could do some damage at first. But then when they met Dalton, they met their demise. It was just like they're just a nastier group. But they were funnier and more endearing. So the villains, when all the bad guys, dude, 80s movie 101 and action movies 101. If your villains suck, your movie sucks. It's not going to be, it doesn't suck. It's just not going to be as good. You got to have villains that are fucking kind of cool in a way. Just like, oh man, these guys are fucking, they're cool, they're funny, but they're scumbags. Didn't have that with this. Fight scenes were good. I thought the fight scenes were good. Some of the POV stuff was pretty cool, like getting up close and stuff. But I do agree, it got over the top. Like towards the end, I was just like, how are these guys even alive?
Yeah.
Like, how are these guys literally alive? Not just like standing around, walking around, and getting back up. How are they alive?
Fucking everybody's Homelander, sweet.
Right? It was no throat rip, but you got kind of a reference when he punched the one guy in the throat and he said your throat is collapsed or whatever, and then he falls in the pool, which like Jimmy fell in the water after he got his throat ripped out. So a little bit of a nod, not quite as graphic. But like I said, man, this get dude on 6 more Vizzies and run through this segment again, right? It's just like, look, man, like I didn't hate this movie. Like I said, I had fun with it. My kids love the original Roadhouse. That was like the first like 80s movie I showed them. And they were like, dude, Dalton's fucking awesome. I was like, yeah, I get it. This is a good movie. It's fucking awesome. And they watched it, and it was like, even they said, it was okay. Like, the other one's better. And I was like, okay, yeah. And it's not a bad movie. But I can tell you right now, it has nothing on the original. And I'm never going to watch this one over the original.
Yeah, right.
I'm never going to actively look out. If I go through TV in a couple years, or if I see Roadhouse 2024 on TV, I'm going to be like, I'm good.
Yeah, and that's
Roadhouse 1989 comes on?
Yeah, and we'll get Cuddles on here to shadow that. I will say, because as much as I definitely everything I said, I didn't hate the movie. There were, and a lot of it because of Jake Gyllenhaal, I did enjoy it. Some of it, I suppose, but like the point is, at the end of the day, am I going to rewatch this again? No. That's the way I got to look at that.
Dude, I heard that Red Dawn remake is terrible. I didn't even bother watching it. Even though Chris Hemsworth is in it, I was like, I'm good. Yeah. That thing got shelved for like 2 or 3 years, too. That's what's really fucked up about it.
I forgot that was even a thing.
All right. We are bringing on the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. King Cuddles. Mr. King Cuddles, how you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, daddies.
Hey.
There he is. What's going on, man?
Crash.
Oh, shit, not much, man. How y'all doing?
Dude, I tell you, man, I'm ready for the weekend. I'm just ready. I'm ready, dude. I'm ready. I've had enough of this week already.
I feel you.
I wish I was Officer Fisticuffs. I wish I was doing that instead of my job. I wish I was just Officer.
Can't believe they put a police car in Red Dead.
I know, right?
All right, Cuddles. I know you've got some thoughts on Roadhouse, man. I want to get your thoughts on what you thought about it.
Well, I'm going to start off by saying I'm a huge fan of cheesy action movies, whether it be the Meg movies, whether it be Cobra from the 80s, even the Fast and the Furious movies. I'm not even going to even remotely compare this to the original. This movie was hot fucking garbage.
Woo! hot fucking garbage.
It was, and I know y'all say y'all like Gyllenhaal in this, and I love Gyllenhaal. I've loved Gyllenhaal since Bubble Boy and Donnie Darko. Like,
Oh yeah.
But this, and whether it was the writing, the story, the whatever, there was no chemistry between not one actor or actress in this entire movie.
That's fair.
Like
Oh, yeah,
everybody felt just we're gonna do our own thing. Like they all shot separate scenes. The fight scenes I enjoyed to a bit, but then they got really campy, really old, really fast.
Yep.
Like you already mentioned it, Conor McGregor was a walking meme the whole time. I like Conor McGregor. The movie could have done without him, and it would have been just fine. The movie could have done without the UFC backstory and done just fine.
I thought that was so lame, dude.
Well, just this whole, oh, I'm the Incredible Hulk. You're not gonna like me when I'm angry. Like it was just so fucking dumb. Dude.
Yeah.
Like everything. And I understand, like it's supposed to be cheesy. It's supposed to be goofy. It's supposed to be all this, but like you said earlier, not one of the villains I was remotely scared of.
No.
Or was in fear of them being able to beat Gyllenhaal's character or anybody else in the movie. The story didn't make sense. They wanted this roadhouse where they didn't really do anything. The Patriots are already fighting in the damn place. Like, then they go and catch some fucking, bookstore on fire. Like, why not just catch the fucking roadhouse on fire? Like, you dumb fucks. Like,
Yeah, good job trying to shake down a young kid.
The main bad guy said that multiple times after he realized he couldn't fix it. He was like, just burn it down. And I was just like, okay, why are you burning down a bookstore then? What are we doing?
Yeah, burn down Roadhouse.
Let's burn the fucking thing down.
Yeah, you're scared of a 12-year-old with a bat. Way to go. Y'all are really, really scary.
See? Weird.
I mean, just the beginning. I know this is going to be full of spoilers. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But,
I mean, if you've seen the first Roadhouse, you know.
Yeah, he gets stabbed. Just like, whatever. Cool.
Yeah. I don't need my
it's like
liver.
we had a bunch of, cool. Everybody's Captain America. Way to go, guys. And then like you had the motorcycle group. They were fucking useless. The main guy in the motorcycle group was on the Mayans for 10 seasons as a motorcycle gang member, and that's the best he can do for
that's all he can do, man. Typecast.
Dude, well, I mean, just he was garbage at it too, though, in the movie, and I don't know, man. The story was horrible. The movie was horrible. Like I said, I won't even compare it to the first one because it's just no point. They're not even in the same realm.
Yeah, I don't think they're in the same league. I think you're right.
I will say though, I do want to point out, I found one thing for sure that stuck out to me, and I forgot to mention that I did actually think was pretty good in there. I thought the music selection was actually diverse and pretty good. Like I found some of that stuff to be like,
stuff they played in the bar.
Yeah, the music was pretty good. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. I kind of like what's going on here.
No.
Matter of fact, there's a couple times they're fighting, and I'm like, wait a second, I care more about the band playing than the fucking fight. Say anything.
That Sublime cover was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was really good. I was surprised by
good.
that. Yeah.
But I guess the uncle called them the band because they were a band.
Right.
Like,
what in the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, who came up with
I'll
this?
be honest, the crocodile shit caught me for a loop. I thought it was just going to be like a bit.
I thought that was one of the best kills in the movie.
Yeah, it was.
That's fucking
but
funny.
I was like, oh shit, that's really.
As soon as you went in the water, I was like, oh, here comes the croc.
Right.
It's happening.
And I guess
the crocodile was the one cheesy scene in the entire movie that was actually funny and worthwhile.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I was like, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
cool.
I didn't expect that, but whatever.
Whoever came off the writer's strike and helped write this, go back on strike. Like, it wasn't even worth it. I don't even care if you're out of a job. Like, this was fucking stupid. And of course, it was on Amazon, right? I think they're kind of known for this shit at this point.
I don't get them with honestly, and this is kind of of course past this, but like, there's a handful of TV shows that aren't good. They take big like named things, buy into it, and do trash with it. I know people that like Wheel of Time but don't like the show, and clearly you know how I feel about the Rings of Power, but like then you got shows like Reacher out there that's really fucking good. You got The Boys that's really fucking good, and then you got a movie come out like this and you're like, why?
And see what's disappointing in my opinion, honestly, man, it's like when you take when you take Roadhouse and you're thinking remake, at first, I was like, don't need a remake of Roadhouse.
Yeah.
But could be cool. They did it right.
Mm-hmm.
They did right by it. You got Doug Liman in the director's chair, did Bourne Identity, Live, Die, Repeat. He did a lot of great movies. He's done a lot of great movies. You got Jake Gyllenhaal in the lead. Awesome. I mean, the talent's there. And Doug Liman, he refused to go to like the premiere, the red carpet premiere and all that stuff because he was so pissed that Amazon wasn't putting this in theaters because he was like, this movie should be in theaters for everyone to see.
Nope.
He made it so, dude, I thought this was going to be his magnum opus, the way he was hyping this thing up. And I was like, oh, man, he must be really proud of this stuff. And, hey, I mean, like, again, with everybody involved, and he's doing that bit, I was like, damn, this might be pretty fucking good.
Maybe it's a good thing he stayed home.
This is not a movie I would have been like, man, I'm glad I paid $58 to go see it at the theater with Tone and buy a bucket of popcorn.
Right.
So
This movie, like if you would like I said, with Jake Gyllenhaal, great actor, and don't get me wrong, he was completely fucking shredded in this movie. Like he looked good. But if you would have made it a more dark, grittier, action flick instead of whatever this cheesy shit was, it might have been worthwhile. But I mean, just like the moment Conor McGregor stepped on the scene, wherever
it turned into a cartoon, man. It turned into a cartoon.
Like, yeah, after that, it was just like, all right, this movie's done. Like it just wasn't worth watching.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it. If anybody hasn't seen it, don't watch it. Don't even waste your time because you're never gonna watch it again.
Yeah, like you said, man. Like none of these villains I was scared of, and I'm not saying like the villains in the original were scary, but Brad Wesley was an unhinged dude. But he like I said, he did enough. He had enough scenes where he kills somebody, or he beat somebody up, or he blow up a building, or he burns something down. I was like, man, this guy makes shit happen quick. Like he does not give a fuck about anybody, and that's kind of creepy. Then he has a couple scenes where he actually beats up Dalton. You're just like, oh shit, Dalton's equal, just because he gets the jump on. And then you got Jimmy, who seriously, dude, and I don't mean to go back on this, but this is seriously one of the greatest written lines in a movie ever. Going back to the 80s, you got a movie where Jimmy and Dalton are fighting on a beach, and it's a fucking one winner takes all, and Jimmy gets Dalton in a fucking headlock, and you're just like, oh shit, he's gonna break his fucking neck. Is Dalton dead? And Jimmy says something like, I used to fuck guys like you in prison, and I remember I was just like, what the fuck did he just say?
No,
I remember, dude, it was such an intense fight, and he's like, I used to fuck guys like you in prison. I was just like, whoa!
Right.
No way that was improv. There's no way a writer wrote that down and said, dude, this guy's a badass. Put this line in there. Dude, Jimmy had to have improv that. That when I heard that, I remember I rewound. I was like, did he just say that? I used to fuck guys like you in prison. I was like, that is a hell of a fucking line to drop in the middle of a fight. I was like, that's great. But like Jimmy was a threat. But like you said, Cuddles, nobody in this movie was a fucking threat.
Nobody, even like Big Dick. I know,
Big Dick, right?
It was so dumb. And like this island had a population of like 7 people anyway. Like, where is everybody coming from to go to this bar every night? I don't get it. Like, there's just so much of this movie. It just did not make sense. Or not like even like the love interest between Jake and the doctor.
Yeah,
like,
that was weird.
From the moment they got together to the end, like they just never clicked. Like you never like, oh, you know what? He wants to fuck her, right? Like.
Right.
Or she wants to fuck him. Like
I feel like she really wanted to bang him, man. She was like, I'm dating a cop, but you're fucking hot and you're shredded. So
yeah, the whole thing was weird. I don't know, but either way.
Even hard. Go back to that cop scene. Are you taking my boat? Okay, we'll have it back in 2 hours, right?
I didn't get that. I was like, that's so weird. Yeah. And you just didn't have any of those types of scenes that just either felt out of place or they felt like they were thrown in a reshoot or something. Yeah, none of that in the original. The original was what made 80s action movies so good. Straightforward. Good guy, even a flawed good guy, a worthy adversary villain, a nasty group of henchmen that were kind of like bumbling idiots at times, and just the Double Deuce. The Double Deuce had personality, dude.
Deuce.
You had, I mean, yeah, they even had the band with the cage at this place. So I'm like, this place does not look like you have to have a cage around the band.
Right.
The Double Deuce looked like a fucking place that needed like a cage and like maybe bulletproof glass.
It was like cage for like fucking like mean dogs. And the cage they had for this is like a chicken coop.
Yeah, it was weird, man.
Like weird.
They tried to do so many like throwbacks, and it was just like, nah, dude, you could have done without this.
I mean, at least I watched Fast and Furious for 20 years for them to start getting this dumb, right? Like,
right. There was no build up for this.
No, it was an action movie with Austin Power villains. Like, I'm just. There you go.
Look,
I'm sorry.
You see Jay Hill? I saw the nudity graphic at the beginning and was waiting for that, and then it's just Connor's ass. Yeah, we get some P and A in this movie. No, we're just getting A. Just Connor's A.
Connor's A. There you go. Well,
No, dude. Like I don't disagree with the people who like really just dislike this movie. It's one of those movies where I feel like, you might see a little bit of value in it, and you might hate it, but I think it's across the board. This one doesn't even come close to touching the original. I think that's just the bottom line. I mean, I'm glad they made it. I'm glad they got to make the film they wanted to make.
mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it doesn't hold a candle to the original. It's going to be forgettable compared to the original. And I feel like it doesn't matter if you enjoyed it or if you hated it. It's not even close to it.
Right.
So like you mentioned, Tone, and I think Cuddle said it too. Why does it exist?
Yeah. Doesn't need to.
Just watch the trailer. You'll see all the good parts from the movie.
Or better yet, just watch the original.
Yeah, that too.
I would just do that. I would just watch the original. The original still holds up really well today, and it's fucking awesome.
It is.
What's wild though, man, is Joel Silver, the producer of the original, produced this one.
Wow.
So I don't know what he was thinking.
He's senile now, apparently.
It's weird.
Amazon's paycheck, I guess.
I mean, that's pretty much what it was. They're just like, we'll pay you a lot of money to make a movie that we're not going to put in a theater, no matter what your director says.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Doug. It ain't happening. You got anything else you want to add, Cuddles? Other than Tones.
I'd like to talk
Uh-oh.
pepperoni nipples. Oh no. No, that's it for me.
Delicious.
I'm already heated.
No, man.
I want to go back and watch the original.
He's already mad. He's already mad.
Yeah, go watch the original.
No, man,
Yeah.
we appreciate you calling in, brother. I wanted to get your perspective on things. I know, like I said, I feel like we're all just kind of like at different like ranges of like where we're at, and ultimately, all three of us are just like, go watch the original.
At the end of the day, yeah.
I think that's very telling, honestly. So, but no, calls, man. We appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts, man. That's why we love having you on, and we love getting your perspective on things.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's why the weather's so fucked up right now. Patrick Swayze's pissed.
He is. He's very angry. He's not happy about it. No, we appreciate you, brother.
Love you. Bye.
Take care, man. All right. That was King Cuddles, the man, the myth, the mod, the legend, and Officer Fisticuffs.
Officer Fisticuffs.
Make sure you check out his RP. He's been RPing a lot. I'm glad he's kind of
Getting back in the RP.
getting back into the RP. I think that's one of his best bits. Dude, and like, man, I was sitting there, dude. I was watching him last night, and he had this engagement with. He's obviously a cop, and he's talking to this woman who wants, or he shows up for a burglary or a home invasion or something, and it turns out it's a girl he's like dating someone or something like that, and so like. She's just throwing all these innuendos at him, like she goes, "We can work out an arrangement where I don't have to go to jail." Like all these innuendos, and like Cuddles is he's struggling to like keep it together. Like you could tell he wants to just die laughing. And this girl is even like, "I got you all flustered, officer," and she's like, "Are you sure we can't work out an arrangement?" And like she walks up to him in this hallway of this house, and I was like, and I remember before it even happened, I wrote in the chat, I go, "Can you crouch in this game?" And she walks up to him and she drops to her knees. And dude, it was great. Twitch did one of its 30-second ads.
Yeah.
The minute she dropped her knees and went to ad, like it was like, nope, can't watch.
That's funny. That's funny.
It was hilarious, man. So it's good seeing him doing that stuff, man. It's a lot of fun. He's just such a fun RP guy to watch. And like that, I was telling him, man, like I want to kind of I'm thinking about maybe getting into that when like GTA 6 comes out. Make sure you check out Cuddles, man. Make sure you follow him here on Twitch. He's entertaining as fuck. I was telling him, I was like, man, I would like to play if they have a university in this next one, because I know in this one there's like a university and there's like a little football field.
Yeah.
I was like, I should just play like a fifth-year senior quarterback who fucking sucks, but just walks around campus like he's a badass. Like act like I'm just a fucking stud. And then when people ask for my line from the last game, like, I threw for like 200 yards, 5 picks, and 1 touchdown. You know, just being like an entitled loser and just walk around and be a badass on campus. I don't know. I just feel like that'd be kind of fun to get into that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that
everyone seems to think that you should be doing this shit.
Apparently, Blanco won't leave me alone.
Blanco really wants you to do it, man. What would your arc be? If you had to just in GTA, like what would your arc be?
In GTA?
Yeah. What would your job be?
Probably a fucking drug dealer.
I would like to see it because then you and
crazy
Cuddles would
fucking
square
drug
off.
dealer. Yeah.
You and Cuddles would square off.
But like a crazy one.
You know who I'll be? I'll be Conor McGregor. I'll be your
Yeah,
right hand
you
man.
would
Just
be.
walk around like a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, that's actually would probably be a lot funnier if I was like a sex worker or something.
Yeah, there you go. Stripper.
Like some shady. Yeah, there you go.
Wear like some fucking Speedo or thong or
Like
some